And we're back once again, only on It's After Hours, only on Full Swap Radio. And joining me here on location, she's quickly becoming one of the it performers in the content creator adult industry world. You've seen her all over the places. She's fresh off of AVN, where she was nominated, and everybody wanted a piece of her. I give you from I'll say parts unknown, but well, she's gonna be known by everybody here. I give you swinger, cougar, hot wife, and all around beautiful businesswoman. I give you Karissa Koxx. So Karissa, let's start off with AVN. Give me some highlights, give me some big events, and for you, was it everything you expected? Was it better? Was it a little bit of a letdown? Like, give us the full details.
First, I wasn't nominated, so I was not nominated this year. Um, so I just want to make sure they know that. I'm not even a whole year into the industry. This was my first AVNs as a creator. I was there last year as a plus one, helping out a friend in the industry. But so I kind of knew what to expect. But yes, AVNs was everything I'd hoped and then some. Yeah, it was awesome.
It's different when you're a plus one compared to when you're there, because when you're a plus one, it's like, okay, you can go around, you can do whatever you want, you can like
Right.
freestyle a bit. And here you were signing autographs, you're posing for photos.
Correct.
How it was? Did it ever get overwhelming? Because all of a sudden it's like people are like sign this, sign this, sign this, sign this. Hey, there, buddy. You watch that arm there. You break this. You're gonna buy this. Sign this, sign this. Hey, you touch that plate, buddy. I will give you. I'll give you the business.
No, it was everybody was so nice. It's still odd for me when someone comes up and talks about like they love what I put out, or like they say they're my fan. Like that's still really like just weird for me. But everybody was super nice. Like I didn't have any weirdos or creepers or anything. I mean, well, my husband was with me pretty close the whole time, so that wouldn't have happened, I don't think, anyways.
So I gotta ask, how are your feet feeling? Because it's one thing to go there your first time and do everything. Then all of a sudden, after like the first day, you're like, oh God, these high heels are killing me. I can't stand. I need like some ice, please. Can somebody give me some fuzzy slippers and just let my feet heal?
So I was prepared for that because I had been to Exotica Miami.
Ah,
I think it was I got into Vegas Monday, went out with some friends, did some networking, and then Tuesday night I was on a radio show with Brandy Love and Reagan Fox. So of course we were all dressed up, and I did wear heels. But what I didn't anticipate is that we were all going to go out together after. And so I ended up in those heels out at one of the bars for hours. And the next day, yes, my back, my calves were killing me, but I just wore boots, like combat boots, and some blinged out Nikes the rest of the time, which had been my plan for the floor anyhow, just because I knew better than to do heels. Um, and had I known we were going out after, I would have packed some other shoes. So yeah,
you live and you learn.
correct.
So we'll get back to AVN in a bit, but first, take me to getting into this. Like, what made you decide to take the plunge? What made you go from like a nice housewife to, hey, I'm going to start doing content. My home is now my business, and hey, we're getting ready to have some fun.
Yeah. Well, it really like it was never even something I had thought about. I mean, I have 5 kids, they're all adults now. Um, and I would have never done this when they were under age, just because, the kids already face enough junk to not have to deal with somebody finding their mom. Um, but it started when I was the plus one at AVNs last year. We walked into the first party and all these people were like, oh my gosh, I'd love to work with you. And I was like, no, 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 kind of thing. And of course, I'm texting my husband the whole time. And as the week went on, I was like, I don't know. I mean, that wasn't just a one off. Maybe I could do this. And of course, he's super supportive. Like he loves it. He's super proud of me. He's like, like I said, he was with me at Avians all week, helping me, doing all the things. And so I just was like, all right, well, what do I have to lose? My kids are grown. I don't really care what people think of me if they find me. Um, so I was, all right, I'll try it. And then we're almost a year in, and it's gone much faster and much bigger than I ever imagined.
So tell me about your husband. So what does he do, and how much work do you two put into this? Because a lot of people think, oh, it's easy. I have an iPhone. I look hot. I'm going to shoot porn. Click, click, click. And it's like, no, this is a full time thing. So how does he help, and how much work does he help you with in terms of just the behind the scenes stuff that we never see but take for granted?
He films for me. So he's my cameraman when he's there. He also does get in front of the camera some. We actually have a really, really hot foursome coming out with Doc Chocolate and Fun Charlie. We all shot that, I think, back in November. So he does get in front of the camera a little bit, and then obviously he does the heavy lifting. He does the setting up, carry the bags, the luggage, all those kind of things. He does a lot of social media. He has his own social media where he pushes me on his social media. I run all of my own, but he just uses his to push me as well. Yeah, so he really just does anything I need the help with. And of course he helps my friends and does all the things for them too if he's around.
How much do you put into all your projects? I mean, the shooting, all that stuff, but like setting it up and coordinating with people. Who do I want? Who do I get? Planning out the scenes. Okay, this we're gonna have some dialogue. We're gonna do some role play here, because
Yeah.
when I see some of this stuff, it looks impressive. So I'm guessing for you, if it's impressive, I've learned then you put a lot of time into it in terms of like, okay, this is my idea, this is how I want to execute it, and you start putting in all the details.
Yeah. So I do a lot of gonzo because I prefer to watch amateur type porn. So I don't enjoy the heavy dialogue if I watch porn. So generally I do mostly just like light dialogue. Because I listen, if I flip on a porn, I'm ready to go. I just get into the business. So that's kind of what I shoot. I mean, have done some scripted and type scenes, but that's not my preference for shooting my content. But there's so much involved from, your outfit, how you're going to do your hair, when somebody can come to town, when you can go to town. We do have some creators here where I live, but there's only a handful of us. So, you've got to line up your trips, and I try and travel at least once a month. LA, Vegas, kind of that area. I've traveled to Florida for work. So you just have to plan it out and get it all lined up and things like that. So it is a full-time job, and that's what people don't understand.
Be in between these plans. You got to be getting surgery. Yeah, I'm not. Why surgery now? And how tough was that? Because I'm guessing you could have had it earlier, but you're putting off. I got to go to AVN. This is a big business deal. Like, what was the reason for the surgery? And is this something that for you, it's like, I need to get it? It's not a, well, it's more, I kind of need this.
Well, so back in August, I got my implants exchanged and replaced. They were 19 years old. So I needed, they were having some issues. And so I needed to replace them. So I flew to Florida to see Dr. Revis, which is like the boob god. He does most of the, big name girls. He does all the extra large implants. And then I ended up with capsular contracture on my left side. And we've been kind of like doing, they give us it's an allergy medicine that's supposed to help, and like massage and things. And it was doing better. And then on Christmas Day, it decided it didn't want to be better. and it tightened up real high. So I'm a little uneven right now. And they wanted me to come back because I do have a hematoma in there. Um, they wanted me to come back right away. And I just said, I can't. I said, I have commitments at the ABNs, and I try and keep my word to people. And so I pushed it. So I leave next week to go back for that revision just on the one side. But the nice thing for me, like, so before my August surgery, I worked like a crazy person. And I really haven't got to shoot a lot. I think I've done one shoot house since my surgery in August. But I have enough content in my backlog to drop one new scene all the way until June right now. So just because I'm out for this surgery, my fans are still going to get a brand new scene every single week from me. So I strategically, planned my surgeries to make sure that my fans didn't have to sit around and wait for any, new content.
Do you ever get worried about the surgeries? Because that's scary to be put under, and they're gonna work on you. And that's that on top
Yeah.
of you have to have surgery where hey, my back's screwed up, my knees are screwed up.
Yeah.
When you're doing cosmetic, and I get it, it's still like there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So for you, how do you not freak out? Because I'd be freaking out. What do you mean I gotta go back again? What do you mean there's leaks? So this doesn't. I'd be like, I'm not sure here. Just take the whole thing out. Just take it all out. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Well, prior to getting them redone in August, I had known for a few years I needed to get them replaced. And that was my thought. Like, I don't want to die on the table. Like, my kids will be like, oh, my mom died, having a cosmetic surgery or whatever, and it's really such I mean, yes, there are risks to surgery, but I trust my doctor and I know he has a great team. And really my surgery I recovered pretty well. I'm in pretty good shape. I eat, 80% of the time, super clean, organic, grass fed, free range kind of diet. Um, so I'm in good shape. So I was nervous before that August, but I know we did so well and I, came out and was just fine. So this time I'm not really nervous.
So so after the surgery, for you, I mean, how tempted were you? Like, okay, I'm gonna plan for this and this and this, and yet because of who you are and you're very detail oriented, you're very methodical. Like, okay, I want this to look great. How tough was it going? Okay, I can't go to say Chicago yet because I want to make sure I'm fully healed and that I'm not rushing into things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that did happen. I was scheduled for New Jersey. And the flights were booked, the hotel, everything. And then I just wasn't really ready to get back to shooting yet. So, because we had non-refundable flights, I went ahead and canceled New Jersey Exotica, and we just went and stayed in New York for those days instead, just because I couldn't give my, the co-creator, my co-star, a good scene, and I won't do that, so it is, I would rather not work than just do it half-ass.
Going back to your site and your brand, you say you do a lot of gonzo, but you like
Yeah.
shooting that kind of stuff. Why? And what do you look for in performers then? Like when is considering that you don't, for you, it's not about dialogue, so that eliminates, a lot of, roadblocks for getting people. Like, what do you look for when you're shooting with other people? Like, what turns you on to performers?
I'm a vibe girl, so generally, like, I've just been connected with so many people. So like, say at AVNs, there's been people I've been trying to work with, and now we finally met in person, and I know right away if I'm going to connect and be able to connect on screen with somebody. And honestly, a lot of, or most of, the people I've worked with have been like a referral from someone I know, or someone I know knows them. And so generally that kind of tells me, okay, well, if they're friends or friendly with this person who I consider to be a friend, we're probably going to get along, And I haven't worked with anybody that I would not work with again. Like I've gotten really lucky. I've just not had any bad scenes or, been with someone and been like, oh, heck no, that's never happening again. So I've been really fortunate. I'm maybe at someday that will happen, but so far it's been good.
How do you vibe with somebody, especially when you're first starting out in terms of like it's mostly social media. So you're hitting up people on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and it's not it's not like you sit down and have a coffee and get a sense of who they are because it's social media. So how do you first get that clue of when they're like I'm vibing with them when a lot of them are just like okay I'm in New York, I'm in LA, I'm in Texas, and you're first connecting via email, Twitter, or DM.
It's how they send their first message, usually if it's respectful, and if it's detailed. Like, don't just say, hey, in my DMs, because do you know how many DMs that we all get that just say, hey? Like, come to me and say, hey, I like your content, I like your look. I think we could make a great scene. I would love to work with you. Here's when I'm available. Here's what I'm thinking. Like, just give it all to me in the beginning, and I know some girls don't like it if a guy reaches out and says something like, hey, beautiful, or whatever. Like, that doesn't bother me, but be respectful. I don't want you to say, like some out of pocket, kind of thing. So that's always my first clue. Now there have been a couple guys who are newer in the industry and they'll send a message that if they'd sent it to someone else, they probably would have got reamed out for. But I will just be like, look, I know you're new. This isn't really the right way to approach this. Let me give you a couple pointers, you know, and go from there with them.
With guys, it's easy because okay, it's their equipment goes in this place, and they're always attracted to women. When you're shooting, as you said, bisexual stuff, how tough is it figuring out right off the bat? Okay, is the woman really interested? And like, have you ever had those moments where it's like you're shooting, and then all of a sudden you realize, yeah, she's freaking out. The idea was great, but the execution's like, I don't want to go down there. And it's like, God damn it, lady, you should have told me this earlier.
Oh, yeah. So I have shot with someone who isn't bi. She'll do bi stuff paid. Um, and I adore her, but I will not shoot with someone who's not actually bi anymore because I feel like it's not a good product that we put out because I can feel the apprehensiveness and I would be horrified if that ever translated onto the screen. So after that, I just decided obviously like a paid thing that would be different, but if I'm just doing a collab, they have to be bi.
Speaking of vibe, you earlier mentioned about your husband does all the heavy road work and that you two are in this business, and it can drain people because it's like when does it end? Where does let's say cameraman slash performers start melding into wife and husband? So for you two to keep you just a love to keep the passion together, like how often do you go, okay, we're putting our phones down, we're gonna have date night, we're gonna have this, we're not gonna talk about work. No, babe, put your phone down. It's after 9 o'clock. We're not looking at work. We're gonna actually have dinner.
Yeah, no, we do that. I mean, we're coming up on 25 years married. Um,
Congratulations.
so obviously we had 5 kids, and so we always had to learn how to balance and date each other, raising our kids. Um, no, it's very easy for me to just say, I'm done, because I don't want to burn out. And I hear that so much that, there has to be balance. Yes, this is a job and I'm trying to make money. But if I'm so wound up tight and I can't enjoy any part of my life, what's the point? So that, and I think that just comes because I'm older than a lot of the girls, so I can separate, you know, the work life balance kind of thing.
With your rising popularity, it's going to happen. more people are going to find out. So who knows right now in the family, and how tough was that explained to them? Like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going on. You might hear something from your friends. You might have to stay away from certain sites and keywords because, yeah, I might pop up. It's like, oh, all right, who wants to see
Yeah.
that from my friend, my mom, sister? Like,
Yeah. So we did tell all of our kids for that exact reason. Actually, three of the five knew right from the beginning. But the older two don't live, near home or anything. And so I had to tell my older son because one of his friends did find me. And then I did tell my older daughter. She doesn't care. My older son hates it. He he doesn't even talk to me because he's mad I'm doing it. And I'm like, look, I'm a grown up, you're a grown up. That's totally fine if that's what you choose. My three younger who are early 20s really don't care. My daughter helps me with social media and that kind of stuff. Obviously none of the actual sex part. um and then I had a Facebook, but I'd never really been on it because I thought, all my cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff are on Facebook, right? So it wasn't until about, oh gosh, maybe 3 weeks ago, I finally made my Karissa Koxx Facebook public. And right away I got a couple text messages from some swinger friends who saw me. So I'm assuming it won't be long until, regular people, but I'm almost a year in. And at this point, I'm in it. Had 6 months ago, I probably wasn't ready to make that, okay, I'm in it, but I'm just having fun and some success. And so it's like, it is who I am now.
with the swinging, how did you get into that? And again, with we hear about a lot of people, they get to swinging, they think it's great, and it ruins the marriage because hey, most people think if you have sex with somebody, it means you love that person, and sex and love are a whole different thing. So how did you and your
Right.
husband separate it, and how do you not let like carnal cravings, lust, all that stuff like ruin the relationship?
Well, I mean, we're so solid. If you're not solid, you have no business getting into the lifestyle and being a swinger because, it's kind of one of those people think, oh, if we open up our sex life, it might save our marriage. Well, that's about as dumb as saying, oh, let's have a baby, it'll save our marriage because it just adds new complications. So we got in because I like girls. So that's how it kind of like I approached it to my husband. So that's what started our lifestyle journey. And then, we're not those, it's funny because I shoot porn, but we're not the couple that's just down to fuck everybody. We really like to get to know the people. We just don't show up at a party and, free for all. That's just not our vibe. We really enjoy mostly like the sexy environment. My husband likes when I dress sexy. He likes when, I have a short skirt on. So he enjoys those things. And so it just really, we balance it really well.
What do you want to do this year? What are the goals? Because as you said, you're not even in your first year, and already now
Mhm.
you're working with a lot of people. You've been to AVN, you signed. I'm guessing all of a sudden now companies are calling, going, "Hey, we'll have to pay you to shoot." So for you, like, what are the goals that you want to accomplish this year?
Obviously I would love to shoot, for companies. Like that would be amazing. It's just great exposure. But really what I'm focused on right now is growing my fan sites. Um, I focused all my time on OnlyFans. Obviously, that's like the main platform. And so my goal this year is to get my mini vids, my loyal fans, my fansly up and running. Like I've got my OnlyFans running. And then if I do anything, outside of that with companies. That's just a bonus. Um, so we'll see, once I'm back from my surgery and everything. Yeah, we'll just see kind of where that goes.
So far to date, as I said, you have your OnlyFans, you have your many vids, you have Fansly, you have X, you got Instagram. Give me like the most fun you had at a shoot. Doesn't have to be like hottest scene or the wildest scene. Like give me one shoot so far you can think of right off the top of your head. But it's like I had a blast. Just everything clicked. The people clicked. I clicked. The scene clicked. It was just fun.
Oh gosh. Honestly, that's a lot. Like, so for me, like I said, I'm a connections vibe person. So most of my scenes feel like that. And I, yeah, they're all that way. And it's crazy. Like I've become really good friends with everybody I've shot with. Like I've never had a scene that wasn't like, holy shit, that was so fun. Um, I mean, I had a scene where I had a girl gave me a snowball, which was not, we hadn't discussed it. So that was my hardest scene to date because I had to like pretend like I liked it when I wasn't ready for it. But I've really had like all my scenes have been fun. Like all the people I work with have been just amazing.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I give you one of a rising MILF performers in the industry. You can check her out. She has her own website. It's Karissa Koxx. It's KOXX.com. I give you one of the breakout names of AVN. I give you Karissa Koxx. So, Karissa, once again, for those who don't know, like where can fans check you out? Where is the OnlyFans, the website, X,
Um,
mini
so
vids, fans? Like where can fans hit you up at?
across all platforms, it's just Karissa Koxx and it's Karissa and then Koxx. So if you go to any of those platforms, you can pull me up. But if you go to KarissaKoxx.com, all my links will be there. I'm pretty active on X, on Instagram, so I'm posting there pretty much daily. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Clapper. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on all the socials.
Karissa Koxx, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always on a pleasure having you on the show. We come back, a lot more going on here. Only on it's After Hours, only on Full Swap Radio.